Thank you, Mr. Chair. The New York Times reported last week that the Department of Homeland Security would be requesting the DoD to provide 20,000 National Guard forces to assist in the removal of immigrants from the United States. This was based on an order from the President to increase deportation forces. The article also stated that state governors would ask for volunteers for this duty. General Nordhaus and guardsmen will be called up for this mission on the southern border. Are they being called up as law enforcement personnel to assist in the removal of immigrants outside the United States, or both? If they are to be called up for the removal of immigrants, can you share with the committee the following? Where will the guardsmen be called up? What activities will they be executing? And will law enforcement be among them? So the question becomes, having been a state representative, under what legal authority will the guardsmen be utilized? Because some of the guardsmen will have been maybe law enforcement, sheriff's officers, and others, and they would have some rest authority in certain circumstances. So can you explain how you see law enforcement personnel being used, just folks that maybe don't serve in law enforcement in a regular capacity in their civilian job, and people who are law enforcement in their civilian job, if they will be given different duties or different duties expected of them?
Congresswoman, thank you for the question. I do know that the Department of Defense has received a request for assistance. It is just initial into the building and is being staffed. I don't have specific details or how the department will execute on that request for assistance at this time. I do know that the National Guard has supported law enforcement, whether it was in presidential election inauguration 60 or in 59, and multiple times across the states that the National Guard gets trained and ready. We operate under the authorities of either the state and the governor, or operate under authorities from Congress. And so we take those things very seriously, and we make sure that we're following the Constitution, we're following the law, and any policy and guidance. And then that our guardsmen receive the training and we're put on missions that they know exactly what they need to do, when they need to do it, and how they need to do it. And so we'll be focused on that going forward.
Okay, well, I think there's a lot of legal questions that our guards, men and women, need to know before they're assigned to duties, and I expect due diligence to be done, because there's also talk about using more federal lands, using land and the federal government declaring it part of a national emergency, and then putting military personnel on there. Does that make it a military base? I think there's a lot of areas which we don't understand as of yet. At least I don't, and I feel I have an oversight responsibility to understand what the roles are going to be, because I don't want to put any person, military or whether they're guards or non-guards, in a position where they're given an order where things haven't been really thought out very clearly, because it's going to be their name in the paper. It's going to be their unit in the paper. And I just want to make sure that we do our due diligence, and when we give them a mission to fulfill, that we have thought of all the legal responsibilities and obligations they have. The other question that I'm concerned about is, as these activities increase, how does that affect their training and their qualifications for a near-peer fight? How do you work with the department, with the president, to find that sweet spot? And that's my only question that I have, Mr. Chair.
Congresswoman, thank you. As we talk about the National Guard being 433,000 strong, and currently 34,000, just over 33,500 today around the globe. And so that's less than 10%. And as we see, when hurricanes, wildfires, things hit a state, we're able to use emergency management assistant compacts and be able to go to wherever's needed to provide that support in the state. Also, while we're training for the wartime fight. And so from your National Guard, we're always ready, always there. We're making sure that we're using every dollar that Congress gives us to maximize that training and readiness, so that we can answer the call when called upon.
I thank the gentlelady. Mr. Cole was unable to attend today, but his statement will be placed in the record, and he wanted to emphasize his support for the Guard and Reserve over the years and his continued support. Thank you. I appreciate